Yo, what is up? We are back again. Pavy Daily Takes. Uh, Still do not have a haircut, which is wildly unfortunate, but it is what it is. Still don't have a haircut. Hopefully that is changed by the next time I see you guys. But last night there was a game. The Clippers lost to the Mavericks. Shout out my homie Glass Malone. He said that it was going to be a sweep. It wasn't a sweep. Um, um, for not speaking for him, but speaking for him a little bit. I think that was contingent upon Pat Bev playing, and that's what I want to talk about today. I don't think the Clippers are in trouble, but I do think they are in trouble because of the fact it's been the same story all year with this team. Like, you just really haven't had any consistency because most of the time somebody has always heard that somebody isn't playing. And I was really wondering during the season if that would come back to bite them. And I won't say it has fully, but I think that going forward, they got to get some consistency, man, and get their actual guys that they actually signed out there on the court for consistent periods of time, especially when you playing some of the better teams that are, more in a rhythm and have more rhythm with each other because they've played with each other, for, we didn't get to finish the whole season, but 50, 60 games, or at least got in 20, 30 games with each other. Clippers ain't even got in that. I think they've gotten in maybe like 7 games all year with their actual roster. Like, Pat is a guy who I think one of the reasons why, if you just go back and look at both games, right? So, you can say, Luka may have been caught off guard or whatever. I don't think it was that. I just think the Clippers came out and really got into him and let him know we here and we gonna be here all night for you. Yesterday, it really wasn't any of that. Like, I don't think Luka touched the floor within the first quarter of the game. Like, yes, first game, you saw the man on the floor, picking himself up off the floor. People was getting into him. He looking at the refs within 2 minutes of the game. Today, last night, you didn't see that. I thought that the Clippers, the level of physicality, and this is not to say that Luka's soft or anything like that and he won't come back at you, because I think he will. I think Luka's a competitor. And you even saw, in the first game when he, made a bucket, he yelled in Pat Bear's face. So Luka's is a competitor. He's going to, come at you, but it's just about the standpoint of just making you feel that he's there. Luka's too good of a player for you to just, whatever, like, we're going to, play you soft and we're going to, just play a little good. Nah, you got to get up in him. And I think that that's what you're missing without Pat. I think you're missing Pat's energy. Even though the offensive rebounds I saw yesterday, like, I'm not looking at the stats. I don't have them, like, right in my face. But some of the offensive rebounds I saw yesterday, that's Pat that comes up with some of those balls. And those are defensive rebounds. Or the Clippers might have got some more offensive rebounds because Pat is just a guy who does all the extra little things, I could tell he wasn't healthy because of he fouls a lot, but there's some of the fouls that he made in the first game that I thought were just uncalled for, and were kind of like fatigue fouls. But I think he's a huge part of what the Clippers want to do. We've heard it all season. Like, I've covered the team all season, and every time he's not playing, Doc says the same thing. Like, Pat is our heart and soul. Our heart and soul of the team is Pat Beverly. And if he's your heart and soul of the team, and if he's not there, I think that obviously it makes a huge impact. So I think, one, they need to get him back and healthy and going, and I think that'll help out a lot. And also Trez, I think it's unfair to ask Montrezl Harrell, after not playing basketball basically for 4 months, to just hop back in the game and get back to doing exactly what he was doing previously. But I kind of, if you're gonna play him, especially down the stretch, then he needs to be ready, and he needs to be playing at the level, at least somewhat close to the level that he was playing in season, because I think he's also a huge part of what they want to do. Like, the combination of Lou Will and Trez ain't the same if Trez isn't giving you Trez type numbers. You can tell his finishing is a little bit off. It's not as crisp as it was during the season. During the season, once he got into the rim, even if he got fouled, it was for the most part 2 points. His free throw shooting is off. I would see games in the season which he shot free throws better than what he shot yesterday. His free throw shooting seems to be a little bit off. 2 rebounds for Trez in 22 minutes. Trez usually gives you about 8. You can tell that's a lot of that's fatigue. Obviously you haven't ran up and down a basketball court in, what is it now, 4 or 5 months. Like I said, a lot of it is fatigue, and then you come back from the bubble. Well, you come into the bubble. He had the unfortunate incident with his grandmother. May she rest in peace. But you don't get the same level of conditioning that you need for a playoff series, and he has to come back in and literally jump into the playoffs. Like not like you don't get the 10 bubble games everybody the 7 games everybody else got. You got to come right back into the playoffs. And also the no crowd thing. I don't know if he's gotten time to adjust to the no crowd thing with Trez being kind of an energy player. Not saying that it affects his energy, but I mean just the crowd isn't there. You kind of relying upon yourself. Bringing it more so than anything else. And I think that maybe in some of these situations you could probably go with Zoo more. I also thought they found success when they had the all small lineup and they kind of had like Marcus Morris at center. I thought that maybe Doc could have ran that lineup. That was when I think they initially cut it to 10 and he put Trez back in. Maybe you could have ran that lineup a little bit longer, but I don't think that they're in trouble. I personally said Clippers in 5. I still think Clippers in 5 is doable as long as they're healthy. They have to be healthy. Pat Beverly has to play. And they just have to start to get some consistency, man. Like, they just haven't, for the most part this season, like I said, haven't really gotten any consistency. Also, what Trey Burke did, last night with what, 16 points in 18 minutes, didn't really shock me. Reason being is because there's been a theme of quick guards all year doing promotional videos, making gangster grills on the Clippers. Shake Milton literally started his NBA career on the Clippers. Literally. The reason Shake Milton is starting right now is damn near because of what he did to the Clippers. When he walked into that Clippers on that walked in Stapleton on that fine Sunday morning and gave him, I think, like 41 points. Started his career. I've seen Donovan Mitchell do it. I've seen De'Aaron Fox do it. I've seen smaller Russell Westbrook. I've seen smaller, quicker guards all season. Kind of take it to the Clippers. And also I think that's because, I think that obviously I still think Kawhi is one of the better defenders in the league, but it's not 4 or 5 years ago. I still think Kawhi is still kind of living off that reputation of being a defensive player of the year, and I don't think his defense is at that same level. Also, PG, he's a guy, he's been in the league 10 years now. Also, these are wing defenders. Like, these are guys who are great guarding against wings, which is why I thought, them playing against Luka would be great, because even though Luka, he plays point guard. Like, he's not a quick, shifty guard. Like, he plays at his own pace and he gets where he wants to go, but he's not like a bink, 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 bink guard, But, like I said, these are wing defenders. These aren't guard defenders. Like, their guard defense this season has been questionable. Now, if you a wing, it might be a long night for you. But their guard defense this season from the perimeter has been very, very questionable. So that's something that they have to sew up. But also, I think that's because the Clippers are a team that, outside of a few spots this year, I haven't seen them play great defense as a team. I've seen them play great defense as, individuals, because, again, they have really good individual defenders. But as a team, I have yet to see them play great team defense consistently. And, again, here we are, I was going to say in April, but here we are in August, almost September, in the playoffs, and we still see the Clippers not playing great team defense. So my thing for the Clippers is just consistency. Like, at what point are they finally going to be consistent and play? Or can they be consistent? Is it just too late for this team? Have they played 70 games and just an inconsistent team is who they are at this point? Is that the case? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Like I said, it's only one game. You don't want to overreact. I didn't want to overreact for the Lakers. I'm not going to overreact for the Clippers or the Bucks. But it's just something I've noticed with them. Like, it's just consistency. All year, they have lacked consistency and offensive rhythm. Offensively, I think the rhythm gets kind of weird because you don't really have one set playmaker. Also, your guards, because you're using PG and Kawhi kind of as like your playmakers a lot, and also you're putting them in the guard positions on the court, and also asking them to I don't know if Kawhi has had this much offensive responsibility before. I think he, with the Spurs, he had to score and things like that. In the Raptors, he had to score, but I don't think he was counted upon to set up the offense as much. But with that, I think the guards are being placed in positions where they're not really used to being placed. Like, I see Lou Williams taking more corner threes. Reggie Jackson's in the corner a lot. Landry damn near be out there doing cardio at sometimes. Like, I don't even know what Landry even does anymore half the time. But that's because I don't know if they know where their shots, especially guys like Landry and Reggie. I don't know if they know where their shots are going to come. Lou has a little bit more freedom. Lou handles the ball. Lou's counted up on the score. They kind of run plays for Lou. But even sometimes, even with Lou, like I don't know if Lou knows exactly where his shots are gonna come from every single possession, which I think can make it hard for your guards offensively. Like you don't know where your shot is gonna come from game to game. Like if you look at, I don't know, let me think of a team. If you look at, let's say the Lakers. Like I think Danny Green knows where his shots are gonna come from. Most likely, his shots are gonna come from the wing or the corner. Most likely, that's where his shots are gonna come from. Pretty much nowhere else. You may get some top of the key looks, but for the most part, wing and corner are where your threes are gonna come from. Because LeBron's gonna drive and kick. He's gonna probably kick it out when they collapse to the wing or to the corners. For the Clippers, I don't know if these guards know where their shots are going to come from. And I think that their shots came from different places last year because they were asked to do different things last year. Fast forward to this year, you get PG and Kawhi. Their looks are coming from different places. So, again, I think consistency on both sides of the ball and just rhythm on both sides of the ball has been an issue for the Clippers all year. And they just need to fix it and fix it ASAPual because it's the playoffs. And this Mavericks team is dangerous. Like, they got one of the best offenses in NBA history. So if I think they have the best offense as far as rating goes in NBA history. So, if defensively you don't have your rhythm and offensively as well, you don't have your rhythm, we could be in for a very, very long series. And if an upset happened, I wouldn't be floored. So we'll see how it goes. Check back in with you guys later. Pavy Daily Takes. Also, make sure y'all go get my new project. I just felt like rapping too. It's out right now. Yeah, I'll let you guys.
Flex, what it do? Subtle flex, subtle flex, subtle flex.